Hello, good morning, good day, whatever time of day you're listening to this. I'm spending some time today in Psalm 23. This used to be something that I would read every day, whether it was in the morning or night. And I just want to speak to the complexity, the richness of the Bible and the writing that we get from the Bible. And Psalm 23, one of the most famous Psalms, at face value is a really nice psalm, and it's a nice thing to read, and it feels reassuring and comforting, but there's just so much that you can pull from these words, and each verse, each word, there's so much to be pulled from it. So I wanted to talk a little bit about what I'm discovering. All right, first I'm going to start off by just reading the passage. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil. My cup overflows. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. The author of this passage is David, and that is the same David that was David and Goliath, and that's the same David that was King David. So he is who we are hearing from in this psalm. Now, before David was king, before David defeated Goliath, he was actually a shepherd to sheep, and we see him in Psalm 23 refer to the Lord as his shepherd. And this isn't the first time the Lord has been referred to as a shepherd in the Bible. This happens beginning back in Genesis. The Lord is a shepherd to the people, a shepherd to the lost. You know, he'll leave the 99 to go seek the one. We hear that reference. We've heard that before. And David makes that same comparison here. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. So I shall not want, meaning I lack nothing. I have everything I need with God. And then continuing in verse 2, he makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. And really, the entirety of this psalm is presenting this idea of we can't do this on our own. We cannot be self-sufficient in this life. We need God. We need to lean on God with our everything. Because of him, we even exist, and we are even here to wake up and see another day. So we cannot be self-sufficient in this world. We need him to walk through that valley of the shadow of death. We don't have to fear evil when we have God in our life. To continue in verse 4, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. The rod and the staff also making another shepherding reference. And then on to verse 5, you prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. So here we see David, the author, shift his perspective from comparing the Lord to a shepherd to now the Lord is a host. We are guests in his home. He prepares a spot for us at his table. We are invited to God's table. He wants us to stay close to him. God wants to guide and protect us as our enemies are quite literally surrounding us in this earth. On to verse 6. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Now, goodness and mercy following us all our lives sounds wonderful. However, the word follow, some people would argue, is too weak of a translation for what the original Hebrew word meant. In my deep dive, I found a couple people referencing the original Hebrew word for follow. They were actually using the word radaph, R-A-D-A-P-H, and that means to chase after, to pursue. So God's goodness, God's mercy, God's love is going to chase us down. It will hunt us down. He's going to pursue us all the days of our lives. It's not just merely goodness and mercy following us as we live life. God is chasing after us and pursuing us because he wants his goodness and mercy and love. He wants to shower that upon us. And I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Now, there's a whole lot more to dive into each line of Psalm 23, but I would encourage you guys to maybe look into it for yourself. Take some time to sit with Psalm 23 yourself, and if you have a study Bible, you can read more about the context at the bottom. You can read about David's life in 1 Samuel. That's where I read about David and Goliath and kind of how David came into the picture for that story. And just a reminder for this passage in general that us being compared to sheep is painting the picture that we are solely dependent on God, as sheep are dependent on the shepherd to lead them through their life, to lead them through the pasture, to the water, to go after them if they're lost. And that's our comparison, that we are the Lord's sheep, that we are dependent on him for life, to come after us when we're lost. I'm going to wrap this up by saying that I am praying for all of you, praying for us, that we learn to fully depend on God and to not feel like we need to take on so much ourselves. We don't need to take on anything ourselves. When we give everything to God and lean on him for wisdom and understanding through all of life, we're just going to have a lot better time that way. But that's a really hard thing for humans to do. So praying that we can all cease the feeling of control we have on our life and lean on God. Thanks.